My name is Wanjiku Kironyo. I'm a counseling psychologist. The topic I'm going to talk about now is on sexual abuse. This is a situation where sex of any nature takes place without the consent of the other person. It can happen between a person and a child who is as young as 4 months and a person who is a rapist raping a person as old as 80 or even 100 years. Often, people are accessible to the life of this child for many reasons. Number one, they could be the people who are babysitting the person, or they are the one who are taking care of an elderly person. They can be a teacher in the school. They can be the Bible study teacher. They can be the religious teacher in an institution. They can also be a volunteer, particularly those who come from overseas and volunteer their time in an institution where there are vulnerable children. Those children are very anxious to connect with somebody, and anyone who attempts to pay attention, they will do anything to that child because the child is so manipulatable. Often, to anyone, it shows that this person cares and loves them, and that's why sometimes you see them walking away or taking the children anywhere as if they are showing them, they are teaching them skills, or they are guiding them. So it's so easy for the child and such an adult to keep their secret, because even those outings are accompanied by some special favors. This child who cannot access to certain things like sweets, cake, biscuits, or other gifts is normally given to them. And so they can keep it as a secret. The other people who can exploit the children and are known to have done that is a father, the mother, a brother, a sister, an uncle, an aunt. All those people have access to the rights of the child. Also, the baby care, the babysitters have also been known to exploit the children. And even sometimes, is that person who has adopted a child in their lives, and to the family, they adopted the child because they care about their need and wanted to see them through life. So they can continue to abuse such a child without anyone becoming aware. There are also other categories, the workers who work in the homes, drivers. All those are people who have sexually exploited young people around their lives. Often, it's not easy to doubt their defense when the matter is reported. For example, in some cases, and I'm going to give a case example here, is this girl who was fostered in a home, and in this home, the foster father was abusing the child. But during the table dinner or lunches, he'll use a word like, "You are so ugly, you are so lazy, you never make anything out of yourself." So as far as the wife is concerned, this is a person who will have no interest whatsoever with this child. Again, in that home, there was a son who was also abusing that girl. And nobody believed the girl because they were constantly arguing and fighting, and he'll use some nasty languages such that no one will believe that he can exploit her sexually because he did not show that he has any needs of this child. Sometimes there are cases where institutions, managers, and I'm going to give an example here, where an institution manager was abusing children who were vulnerable. They were orphaned. And whenever they attempted to report to the church leaders, because it was a home that was based in the church, people said, "No, this man, we interviewed the guy, we know he's a strong Christian, he can never do such a thing." And that went for some time, until a time when he was caught in the act. Therefore, what I'm trying to say, abusers are all over. They are the people who have accessibility to the life of the children. They are around the lives of these children. They are powerful in their lives because they are either teaching something that the children need to know. They could be the one who are coaching them in a hard subject in school, or they could be people who are coaching them in other skills like swimming, gym, or dancing. So often the child always feels that they are grateful that this person is showing their approval and appreciation to the moves that they are making. So it will become very difficult. Again, other reason why it will become very difficult is that the institution around us that are supposed to take care of those children, especially when these matters occur, are never in a hurry. And I'll give an example. A child that I knew, the mother called me and told me that she was molested by a worker. Then when they went to the police, the first thing they were told, wash the baby. But when they called me, I insisted, don't wash the baby. And so the police did not take the details, and therefore I went to an institution that is supposed to deal with the cases of that nature. When I got there with the child, I was told, no, the person who is supposed to record the case is in court. I insisted that somebody has to record this case because otherwise the child will need to go and wash. However, after insisting and threatening, they called the police, and the police were able to arrest that man. He only went in for 3 years. Only 3 years for having arrested that little girl who was in class 1. So it is so difficult because if I was not even involved in that particular case, that mother would not even have figured out where to start or where to go. She was also very scared because the man was threatening to kill her. If you report me, I'm going to kill you. And that was her worker, and so she was very nervous, she was very scared. So it will become very difficult for these cases to come out. So what do we do as adults in the life of the children, or adults in the life of people who are likely to be abused? Number one, let's not ignore any sign or any message the child or such a person is giving you. If they show they don't like this person around them, there's a reason why they don't like this person. Cases that can be complicated because sometimes a stepfather who come into the lives of the children is not instantly welcomed by the children. And so the mother tends to be convinced that they are manipulating the situation when they report the matter because they want her to get rid of that man. And so the man uses that as his defense, and it is so easy to convince the mother. The other person who is likely to convince the adult is an institution such as education institution. The child in the first place will be perceived as a child who doesn't like school. She's raised, she doesn't like school, and that's why she's giving you all these excuses and saying that teacher so-and-so is molesting me. And because they don't like this teacher in the school, that's why they are colluding. And again, institutions like to protect their names. So first and foremost, they normally will go to the defense of a teacher and quietly can remove that teacher without making sure that the story does not make the headline anywhere for the sake of the image they want to maintain in that school. So that's why it will become very difficult. People who have been molested, sexually abused, are people who are traumatized. Some of the strategies that the abusers uses can be very traumatizing. For example, there are cases where the abuser will take an animal such as a rabbit or even a cat and slaughter it in a slow motion in the eyes of that person. And they will tell them, if you dare to report, this is what I'm going to do to you. Again, sometimes they expose them to snakes and say to them, if you try to report, I'm going to throw you to that snake. So every time the child think about opening their eyes and their mouth to report the case, the first thing that comes into their mind is the snake, is the killing of the rabbit, is how the cat was slaughtered. And so they live with that fear for years. There are many people who have been abused even in boarding school, never reported the matter until many years even after they got married. Sometimes, because they have kept it as a secret, it comes up in cases of mental depression. When he is attempting to get married or to settle down in life, because of the trauma, it becomes so difficult for him to feel comfortable with a person of the opposite sex, and even to trust anyone, because they don't believe that anybody could have trusted them, so they don't trust anyone. Sometimes if they get to a point of getting married and having children, they'll try to overprotect their children to an extent where they will have a dramatized situation, want to follow the child all the way to school and want to be in school with their children without even giving the reasons why. Wanting to be there when somebody is trying to bathe their children, and acting very strange and going beyond what a person who cares about the child goes. And so I can remember a case where the father used to abuse the two little brothers, and eventually when they came a time for them to get married, they were so traumatized that was the time that when they confessed the matter to their own mother of how the father was sexually abusing them. And this is a time when one of them was to send the children home to be with their grandparents. And the boy insisted, no way, they are not going to be with you. And when the grandmother ran about how her own husband was molesting his little children, he was so affected. She was so affected because she did not know that all along that was happening. The only thing is that she kept on seeing some strange behavior of her little boys. So, number one, we need to listen between line. Whatever the children say to us, whatever sign we see that is unusual, and also if there is an opportunity to examine the body when you are washing the baby and the child is expressing pain, don't dismiss that pain. Trying to follow up, even if it means to take the child to the doctor to find out what's happening, because all those things could be happening right in front of the eyes without you being aware. The other thing that is important is that people who have gone through those kind of experiences, they need to be encouraged to form what you call supportive group. When these things happen to a person, they tend to feel isolated in life. They think they are the only one who have gone through that. They feel that nobody else has experienced my own pain, so I can never talk about it. So they keep the secret to themselves to their graves. So they need to be encouraged to come out, talk about it, and if you gather 2 or 3 or 4 people who have gone through it, to be meeting often to discuss about it, it will help. And how it will help is by first of all talking about it, processing the pain, realizing that I'm not alone, that I have gone through it, other people have gone through it, and again realizing that there's a future for me, that whatever happened is not the end of my life. Also, the adults in those people's life need to be supportive. Listen to them carefully when they are talking about what happened. Trust what they say, believe them. Don't dismiss whatever they have told you. So I do hope that as parents, as adults in the children's life, we will take this information seriously, because today, I don't think there has been a day that has gone by without hearing cases of children being molested, adults being molested, and even being killed. And so we need to see this issue as a serious issue in the country and think about how we can all together work on addressing the issue, because I believe there's a way we can eliminate this mental sickness, because I can only call it mental sickness because such a person is a totally sick person. Nobody in their right mind would molest a 4-month-old baby. Nobody in their right mind will molest the very children that they were supposed to care and to look after. Thank you.